Now we come to your favorite segment, Blunty. Props and motors. Aren't you excited
Oh,
about all the new different sizes of motors that people are releasing lately?
I, I, sure.
No, but be honest. What do you have against new motor sizes? What's your take?
Um, okay. So basically, I have a couple points here, but I think the main issue for me is that we're basically it feels like we're just like picking numbers at this point, right? And hey, maybe they'll fit into slots where people will fly and they'll be usable on craft, but like if we're playing the hey, you can build anything game, then you could also have any motor. And at some point, we're going to have like a 1502, a 1503, and a 1504, and a 1504.5. And the three drones that ever shipped with the 1504.5 and the two batches that they ever made are no longer sourceable. And now you're like trying to find a close motor, or you don't get the special motor you thought you liked. I just have a problem with there's such a variety of these motors, and a lot of them are not being produced for like more than one or two batches before they decide like, oh, nobody wants this or it doesn't fit anywhere. That like, I don't know. It just seems like we're
It
getting
just
a overcrowded level of these motors.
it means you can't source spares, right? Is
Sure,
what you're
that's
getting at.
definitely
You certainly
yeah.
and because if you've got the only batch
Well,
of 2407.35 motors made and you need a spare, at the very least you're going to have to compromise by getting a motor that's similar, or maybe you're just going to trash all those motors and buy four spares and waste motors.
also, I'll just say like I feel like we've come to a point where when I started about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now, and when I started, if you look at the options, it felt like, hey, we've got 7 inch, we've got 5 inch, we've got 3 inch, and then we've got a couple smaller things, and then whoops. And now it feels like as a new pilot, I couldn't imagine trying to come in and like figure out like, okay, which motors are the right motors for me? Because there's 25s, 23s, 22s, 21s, 20s, 19s, 18s, 17s, 15s, 14s.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it can be confusing.
Well, I think what we're seeing in some sense is manufacturers doing R&D through the market. So
Right.
there, I mean, like take 2004 sized motors. 2004 sized motors are very, very good for 4-inch freestyle, or they may be some of the best motors for sub 255-inch, right? But would a 2104 motor or a 2005 motor be better? Well, instead of developing a test program and figuring that out, they just make a 2104 motor and a 2005 motor and they try to sell it. And they see if it sells and they let the customers, and maybe the customers buy it and it sucks, or maybe it's good. It feels like some of that's what's going on.
Yeah. I definitely would agree with you there. I'm not sure I'm super big fan with that, but hopefully, people are buying these that like want to get experimental and crazy, and they aren't like, people who think they're somewhat of a standard motor. So
Well, the flip side of that, though, Blunty, I'll take slightly the other side of it is that I'm glad. Like, there was a time period where basically all 5-inch freestyle and racing motors were either 2306 or 2007. And nobody was trying 2407, 2008, or sorry, not 2008, 2207, 2208, even as much as, 2506, like Bob Ruge's motors. And then people and I think it was marketing that drove it. They were just like, hey, there's a million 2306 motors. Can we make anything else? And somebody made a 2407 or whatever, or 2208. But there's a sense in which it's good that someone did that because maybe those are better motors for certain applications, but you don't know.